Memorization, there's a beautiful book for those of you who speak Arabic by Sheikh Abdul Qayyum Suhaybani. He was one of my teachers in Madinah, Hafidhullah. Sheikh Abdul Qayyum, he wrote a book which is called Al-Hifz, I think. And it has a long title, Al-Hifz Turuquhu wa Ajaibuhu wa something along those lines. But if you type in Al-Hifz, Abdul Qayyum Suhaybani, for those who speak Arabic, this is a beautiful, beautiful. He talks about how you memorize. And the Sheikh is an ajab when it comes to, he's amazing when it comes to memorization. And he's one of those people that comes in and teaches without the book, and he tells you when you make a mistake when you're reading from the text. He tells you when you make a mistake in the footnotes, not in the main text of the book. See, that's not footnote number 1, it's footnote number 3. Okay, Sheikh, sorry. It's photographic memory. But he talks about how hifz works, and basically he says there is only one way. There are lots of variations, but there is only one main way to memorize. And every good system of hifz is based upon this one single way in some way or another. There's a lot of flavors, but the basic ingredients are the same. You have 2 variables that you can change. The first is the amount that you memorize in one session, and the second is the amount of times that you repeat it. He said these are the only 2 variables that exist in hifz, aside from muraja'a, revising. But the only 2 variables that exist in hifz are the amount that you memorize in one go and the number of times that you repeat it. So in the beginning, you memorize a very small amount and you repeat it many times. You might repeat it 60 or 70 or 100 times, and it's only one ayah or one line. Only one ayah or one line. Later on, as you develop your hifz, what happens is you start to slowly reduce the number of times that you need to repeat, and slowly increase the amount that you memorize in one session. We know of halaqat in Madinah where people are memorizing Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim in a month or 2 months. You don't start off doing that on the first day. You start people off with very, very small amounts of hifz, repeated a lot of times. Don't be fooled by what we kind of talk about the initial imprint. You can memorize the last 5 words that I said for about the next 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Khalas, it's gone. Don't be fooled by the first time it goes into your mind. You need to focus on that permanent sort of etching it into the person's memory, and that requires frequent repetition, much more than you think. Any child on average in 5 times can memorize an ayah, but it will not stay. 50 times, inshallah, it will stay. Then you need to have an overlap between your old hifz and your new hifz. Otherwise, as you guys know, when you memorize the Qur'an, if you don't have an overlap between your new and your old, what will happen is you will not know what ayah comes next at the end of the page. You can read to the end of the page, but then you don't know what page comes next because you have no connection. What you have to do is read some of what you memorized yesterday, today, and then continue to your new ayah. So if you're doing 1 ayah a day, then you need to be reading 3, 4, 5, 10 ayat from the previous days, and then the ayah that you're doing today. 5 ayat and then the ayah that you're doing today. 5 ayat and then the ayah that you're doing today, to build a link between the hifz. And you need to do a lot of muraja'ah, a lot of memorization. In terms of memorization in general, again, I've spoken about this before, that a mistake a lot of people make is they get people to do a lot of muraja'ah from hifz. And this is a mistake. In general, you want to do your muraja'ah from looking at the printed words. And some people might say this is not proper muraja'ah, and I agree with you, but you need to give them a time where they read the surah from the words, from the printed copy of the Qur'an, instead of constantly testing them on hifz. Because your hifz fails, you need visual kind of reinforcement to take place regularly. And there are lots of side tips. Don't change their mushaf, make them read from exactly the same mushaf every time, because visually you identify where things are on the page, and you kind of identify the shape of the writing and stuff like that. So These are all sort of tips, and there are lots more to say. But in general, with the hifz, start them small and make them repeat it many, many, many times. And as they grow older, some children just have gifts. Some children, by Allah Azza wa Jalla, has given them just such a gift. At 3 years old, they memorize anything that's put in front of them. Some children take a bit longer. Don't worry. Everyone will get there in the end with this methodology. Lots of repetition, very small amount of memorization, and slowly, very, very slowly increase. Maybe after 1 week and they're doing amazing and they haven't forgotten anything, okay, add, another, cut down the repetition by 5. If it's like 50, make it 45, and increase the number of ayat to another 3-4 words or 5 words or something like that. Very, very slowly. If you do it too fast, you'll lose the benefit. Very slowly, until they can comfortably do half a page, 1 page, 2 pages, and they're not forgetting it at all. And that will come in time, because memory is kind of like a muscle. Like if you train it enough, it becomes much stronger and you become much better at memorizing things.